It's a bit of an ongoing mystery, Alyssa. It's the writers do a nice job of piecing little bits of evidence out throughout the season, and Jack's friend Mike, of course, gets involved in the investigation, and they slowly try to piece together little bits of evidence. But Jack's memory has been poorly affected from the injury, so it's very hard to ascertain exactly who it was. But things come together, and as the episodes go on, we start to get more and more of the mystery revealed. The recipe for the show is creating likable characters who are damaged, and we get to enjoy these people trying to be good people, but they've got their demons, and there's challenges, and their love is requited sometimes, and there's always this sense of tension, and I think that's the recipe of the show, and that's what keeps people engaged. So I've got my work cut out for me. I'm going to be constantly dealing with some kind of stress. The biggest challenge really is to infuse our scenes with some emotion and just some groundedness, that the relationship feels authentic, while still having lanterns in the lake and all these massive romantic gestures. But yeah, that's the biggest challenge for me, I think, is just presenting the character and making him believable. But luckily I got an actress to work with who is so good, and I mean that sincerely. Alex is such a good actress, and when we work together, it makes it a lot easier. Yeah, I like actually all of that outdoor stuff. I spend a lot of if I'm not working, I spend most of my time outdoors. I'm an avid sailor, and just I'm always in nature. So I enjoy that stuff. I was disappointed I didn't actually get on the river in season 2 with the kayaking stuff. I was really wanting to do that. And in fact, if we go back to do another season, that's one thing I'm going to do when I'm up in Canada is learn how to whitewater kayak. But I remember distinctly, like, when I was considering the role, and obviously the show only worked if we had chemistry, and I was like, I'll check out her work, and I looked at some acting, and I was like, wow, she's really talented. And then I watched interviews where she was just being herself, and I knew that we would get along. I could just tell she was super cool and very humble, and she had funny sense of humor. She didn't take herself seriously, which is rare for an actress. And I just thought it was really, I was like, wow, this is going to be a really cool experience. But the table read, you're always so nervous the first time you're reading the words out loud, and he's being tested. This poor man is just, he gets shot. He's got PTSD. His house burns down. His girlfriend wants a baby. His ex-girlfriend's having twins. His sister's got substance abuse problems and trauma. And I mean, so the poor guy it's pretty funny because in my life, things are pretty simple. I keep everything simple. And then I go off to make this show, and it's just so much drama and conflict. But I really hope, and I suspect the writers are, if we go forward, start to let Jack start to examine some of his issues, because he's doing a reasonably good job of coping, and he's always there for everybody else in the community. He's the first person to ask after someone or try to help someone and be there, and obviously be there for Mel, but he's not really showing up for himself in terms of his mental health, and I think we saw a lot of that in season 1 with his drinking, and there's a little bit that starts to creep back in. So I think if we go forward, we'll start to delve more into that aspect of the character, and I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be interesting to play. Well, I think the relationship deepens, but it also starts to show cracks because of different wants and needs, and trying to navigate that, like any relationship, right? And what is the compromise there? Because some people want different things, and I think what the audience is going to enjoy is their love deepening, but the mountains they have to climb to overcome the issues become steeper. And I think that creates a lovely bit of tension between them. And I think the fans are going to really enjoy the end of season 3. I think I'm just always struck with the genuine outpouring of goodwill. I think I was very slow to social media. It was something that when it first came about, I had a very cynical view on it, and I just saw it as an unnecessary distraction. And I still sometimes actually, I find it can be very distracting. So I have to monitor my use, because I get quite addicted to I get lost just scrolling and looking at stuff. And there's so many other things I like to do with my life. So I actually try to mitigate that and moderate it a bit. And so I go through extended periods where I just don't engage at all. But then I'll go on and seriously, the main reason I engage in social media is purely for the fans. And frankly, I mean, obviously I can call my mom and my friends whenever I want, but to have that immediate interaction with people who love what you do and are so enthusiastic about the show, it means a lot. And it's really lovely to get immediate personal good wishes. And I can't reply to everyone, but it certainly feels lovely to get that kind of support from people. I'm not sure if the writers ascribe to any particular philosophy other than what they feel is going to be the most captivating. And I think what the writers do successfully, obviously, given its huge appeal all around the world, is create that tension that you're talking about. I think, Alex and I strive to ground the characters in a way that makes them believable so that people really get affected by what's going on. And then hopefully, and that seems to be drawing people in, and they're curious to know whether these people are going to be together. And but of course, the writers are very good at then pulling back and creating obstacles, either internally from the character's past or more pragmatic things, like being shot. I think their philosophy really is just walking that fine line between making it warm and fuzzy, but also creating enough tension and drama and edge that it doesn't become too sappy.
It was unusual, to get a call about the 3rd season of a show, I guess based off the performance of season 1. Definitely indicated that people were flocking to the show. And I think we frankly also were fortunate, given that the show launched just prior to COVID and then the lockdowns. And so I think the show found an audience of, millions of people all over the world who were stuck inside and looking for things to entertain them. And I think it was fortuitous, ironically, that out of that, the show found even a larger audience internationally as well. And it's nice, I think, too, given that so much of the content on television these days tends to be always trying to push the envelope about what's the most dark, sinister, crazy thing. And then here's the show that, in a sense, is almost old-fashioned, that it harks back to very traditional values, and it's about community and love and romance and friendship and, just a bunch of good people trying to be good, for the most part. And I think that has struck a chord, particularly with perhaps the fact that there's so much heaviness out there in the real world. The show tends to offer a comfort in a way that people seem to be really appreciating, and that feels great. We've been able to provide a form of entertainment that's kind of nourishing, and maybe even healing in a time where there's so much division and uncertainty.
Oh, gee. Well, I'm just genuinely charmed by her. I think as a person, she's not only is she an incredible actress, she's very brave as an actress. She's very giving, but she doesn't come to it with a lot of preciousness and seriousness. She does fine work, but she has a very relaxed attitude, and I think that's just who she is as a person. And so there's a level of mutual respect there. I think, you know, if I could see us being friends in real life. She's just a very cool person, and it just makes working with her a breeze. And obviously in a show like this, where the show really hinges on this relationship working, it's just a gift that she's who she is, because it makes those scenes a lot easier. Yeah, I think we're surprised, and frankly, I think, you know, yes, there was definitely a built-in audience with the books, but when we were making the season one, you know, we were very aware that it was essentially a Harlequin romance novel that was being adapted for the screen, and no one was really convinced it was going to do as well as it had. So there was some liberty in that. I think we felt like, I didn't feel a ton of pressure. I mean, the only pressure I still feel today is, you know, is grounding the show, because it can go off into sort of so much fantasy, and that's a big appeal for people, right? Is this lovely community and this lovely setting, and these people are in love. There's, but to ground the characters in a way that makes them human and whole and nuanced and therefore relatable is the biggest challenge. So that's what I see the pressure of. Not so much, I'm just really thrilled that the audience love it, because we put a lot of work into it, you know, and we really believe in these characters. We really commit to them as much as we can. So the fact that people are appreciating it is just, it's humbling, but it's beautiful. I mean, you know,